Galaxy heads, 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 galaxy heads.
Hello everyone out there in galaxies far, far away and even near and close. Welcome to the inaugural podcast of the Galaxy Guy. The Galaxy Guys?
That'll do.
Galaxy Heads.
What's inaugural mean?
Inaugural. First.
Wow, so it's a first already.
It's a first.
That's good.
Galaxy Heads. This is a Star Wars podcast where we will discuss everything from the movies to the TV shows to toys to models to special effects and the lovers and the haters. My name is Jimmy the Saint, and joining me is my co-host John Simmons. John,
Nice to meet you. Cheers.
cheers. We are drinking a non-alcoholic lager, and we are socially
Distancing.
5
meters.
But
I can throw my voice.
yeah,
Like actors.
and that is handy. That is
good.
handy. John, you've been a big fan of Star Wars since you were little. So have I. So we are experts in everything.
Since we were little, that sounds strange, doesn't it? But it's right. Little. You were little kid, little small child watching it on a wooden framed television.
Little prick.
With your mum smoking in the background.
Yeah, that's what we were. So, thank you for listening. We're gonna kick things off with discussing when we first saw the films, and this is the original trilogy. Obviously, me and John are both close to 40, so we are OG Star Wars fans. Original.
It's that sort of hand-me-down era where it was available on VHS, wasn't it?
Well, let's start off. So when
Sibling brothers, I have two brothers that are 10 years and 12 years older than me, so they would have watched it initially, and then I would have had that look at them, what are they watching? I want to be involved, and they were already past it, too old. So I had that rubbish toys that have been dirty and kicked about, put in the ground and exploded, and that was it. But that was brilliant. I think I had the figures first before the films. Like I was trying to work out what the figures were before seeing the films.
Yeah.
Playing with, well, obviously like Chewie and Luke and Han and the heroes, but like Zuckuss and stuff. Like who was he? And then you'd watch it. You'd get like half of Return of the Jedi at Christmas or something, and then you'd try and backtrack and watch it that way.
I think I had the figures before seeing the films. I don't because I can recall having the figures when I first lived on Queen Anne Drive, so I would have been 3.
Yeah.
So I probably
that's an early memory.
That's a really early memory, isn't it? 3,
I was
is that
in
right?
the womb, just playing with my mum's AT-AT. That sounds very strange.
No, I remember being in the lounge and opening figures from the spinning wheel.
Yes.
The toy shop, the spinning wheel.
Yes, I remember that one very well.
And
just hundreds of Chief Chirpers just on the pegs.
Loads of Chief Chirpers, loads of peg
Yeah.
warmers.
If you wanted Chief Chirpers, that was the place to go.
But I remember having Princess Leia in. I seem to remember having her in a Jedi outfit.
Right.
Definitely Gamorrean Guard.
Yeah.
And R2, I think. So I remember opening them at the age of 3 in Queen Anne.
That's good. I can't remember opening any, I don't think.
And then I remember being 5 and watching Return of the Jedi on
I think
Luke
Jedi was first
on
for me.
VHS.
Yeah.
So 5 or 6, and I would have all my figures out and watch Return of the Jedi and just be acting out the scenes as they went.
I think I watched A New Hope last. I don't know why, but that was all. But I've got memories of the canyon and Tatooine and seeing Ben for the first time. That's vivid. That's sort of that was an important sort of memory. Seeing all that when he does that transsexual howl.
Transsexual. Was that a man? Oh, we should stay
Half
away.
Tuscan.
We should stay away from.
That's fine. Look what happened to Gina Carano.
Yes.
I think she mentioned that same statement.
Is that what got her a 5
I think
from
so.
Disney?
She did the voice.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then tensed her arms, and it became some
That's why they fired her.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Jedi was the first one I saw, and I don't recall A New Hope or Empire too much when I was very little. What I recall is Jedi, and I recall Ewoks movies, Caravan of Cabbage.
You loved that, didn't you? I still don't think I could have. I don't think I could stomach it back then, even.
Yeah, I did love it back then.
Do you know Phil Tippett? This is our special effects part of the podcast.
Are we on that? No, that's further down the line.
I'll save it.
No,
Phil Tippett did the blurg, which is now famously in The Mandalorian.
Blurg, yeah.
But it didn't look very good. It was very like the stop motion was very jerky.
Yeah.
But you know, poor old Phil. I don't reckon it was his fault. I reckon that was due to the money they had.
Very, very, very low budget.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It wasn't it meant. I think it was meant to be a completely different film at one point, or one of them was, and then they just decided to merge it with the Ewoks and put like a. That's where that strange old crow came from. I think. Well, she did actually turn into a crow. I think, a grey crow.
Did she? Is her name Willow?
Yeah, there's a lot of animal changing in that, but yeah, she was this like witch lady.
Yes.
With long black hair.
I can't really remember them, to be honest. I just remember
the girl was called Mace. Oh no, the boy was called Mace, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah.
And they later repurposed that name for Sam L.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I couldn't get.
No, they were a lot of crap, and when you look back on them now, they are crap. I don't know. I just enjoyed what I think. Do you know what it was? You could rent them from the local video shop.
Yeah, in a big plastic case.
Yeah.
Glossy black, thin plastic case.
Yeah,
open it up and it would be a trough inside.
And the corners would get folded over. Yeah. Plastic with.
You'd know it was a good film if it was a battered case because everyone would borrow
it. So I used to rent it out quite a lot and just watch them. But they're my earliest memories. The figures, I always enjoyed a lot of the figures. Well, is that us? Is that the memories of the films done? Is there any points in your life where?
I remember there was the collecting aspect of it. Like even then, I knew I had to have as many as I could get hold of, but you didn't know the extent of the figures only by looking on the back of an old beat up card.
Oh bless!
Oh, an old beat up 75 back. And you'd know on there, and then there'd be the some that'd be greyed out, no, blacked out, wouldn't they?
Oh
like
yeah,
surprising.
Well, really badly blacked out, weren't they? Or were they properly?
I think it turned out to be low grey or someone. I can't remember, but that was a talking point between your mates. Who are they? My mate.
Your one mate.
My one mate.
Do you mean your mum?
Yeah, right, mum. She had a fag on at the time. So.
Mum, look at this. He's blacked out.
I'm smoking.
I'm blacked out. I'm going to be blacked out in a minute.
Yeah, so we didn't know who. Like, it was just keep on collecting because there might be like. When I first saw a Minor Man without any arms at Alex Ross's house, I was over the moon because I was like, I knew this was a Star Wars figure, but I hadn't seen him, and it was so far from a Star Wars figure because it was all weird and big.
Yeah.
But you just knew, you knew it wasn't any because you were au fait with your G.I. Joes and everything like that, weren't you?
Yeah, big time. there was a few Star Wars figures that didn't look like they belonged in the set. They changed quite a bit. A Minor Man was one of them.
Yeah. And then the rumours about Yak Face.
Even Ponda Baba figure is a real.
What a terrible figure that is.
Like I love that figure now. Back then, hated that figure.
He looks like a seal, so we're going to give him a maritime look.
Musto.
What
jacket.
would a seal wear if it was on land? Give him a life jacket in case he falls back into sea.
An orange.
Because they've already got rid of his flippers, so he's going to be useless in the water. So I don't want him to die.
Who was your favourite figure? To the listeners out there, I've got a selection of original figures in front of us. I've got them out here for inspiration. I've been purchasing them recently. But your favourite was Boba Fett, was it?
Boba Fett. I used to stand on the upstairs in the bedroom, looking over the sea with a misty eye, playing my figures on the windowsill, and I'd pile them up like this plethora of figures we've got in front of us right now. And I'd just have Boba Fett, and they'd all have to fight Boba Fett.
Really?
And then there'd be a pile of people, and maybe Luke had a challenge there, but it was Fett that would always win. Wow. Fett was my favourite.
Boba Fett's a real interesting character because he really didn't do much, did he, in the films? But just his look.
He was just a hired gun. He just
looked.
That was why he was so. People loved him, I think, because they didn't know much about him. It was just this weird outcast that, like Vader, hardest guy in the galaxy. He doesn't need any help to get people. And look at his army of stormtroopers and who he's got, and he brings in this dude that looks like someone from the Wild West.
I think if Vader's original figure is pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah,
so skinny.
For the baddest villain
Yeah.
in history, you've got this mannequin with skinny little arms,
Feet close together so he can't stand up properly.
It doesn't even look menacing. Yeah, in a vinyl jacket.
Yeah, he wasn't good.
Yeah, it's not even a real leather jacket.
Not even real leather. My my favourite figure is right here. It was the Emperor Palpatine. Lovely solid figure, the Palpatine. Obviously, we didn't know his name was Palpatine back then. It's just the Emperor, right?
I don't know.
It said Palpatine on his case, didn't it? I think
we might have done.
Yeah, it said Palpatine on his case, but it was always the Emperor to me.
Yeah.
Nice solid leg, stands up well, looks great. Evil. I've always been a fan of evil, and like he just looks like an evil old.
Yeah,
horrible man, didn't he? So I was a massive fan of the Emperor, and obviously Return of the Jedi was my film, and you know I liked.
Yeah, he was
good.
Villains. But they back to the collecting. We would then bring on the boot sales.
Well, but that came. What, me and you at boot sales?
Actually, yeah, I suppose you're right. Because I used to go to a second-hand army base. They sell, like, it was. It was where they filmed the start of Blackadder Goes Forth.
Really?
At the Colchester Barracks, yeah.
They did,
yeah. And you'd go through this weird, like, army bomb shelter to get into this room that had massive tables just full of toys. And, like, I don't know, every Thursday afternoon or something, Mum would pick me up from school and we'd go there. And that's a real fond memory of just sifting through crap. And then you'd see, like, a jabber. And you'd be like, yes!
And jabber.
And then you'd keep searching. You'd find like his bowl, and then and then an AT-AT sideways with figures stuck inside it. It was treasure, absolute treasure. Because they were in the dark days, weren't they? When Star Wars was cast aside.
Well, yeah,
very early 90s, late 80s.
I loved Star Wars figures 5, 6, 7, starting to get to 7. Moved back to this. So I moved away when I was 3, right, and then moved back here when I was 8.
Yeah.
Which. By the time I moved back when I was 8, I'd started to get into Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not just the animals.
Action Force.
Action Force.
Which I still think we actually probably called it something wrong. It should have been G.I. Joe, right? That's what.
Yeah, but no, I think it was Action Force in this country. I think it was G.I. Joe in America.
We might have to do a Google on that, Joe.
We'll have to look it up. But I was out of the Star Wars figures. I was out of them. And I was into wrestling figures. WWF wrestling figures.
Yeah.
And then when I met you, when I was 9...
I don't know, we've got a very good photograph of us at Cubs.
Yeah. 9, I reckon 9 or 10. Maybe, I think 9. And came round to yours, and like none of my new friends really knew how to play with figures. And then we met, and you had figures, and you knew how to play them well.
Should we elaborate on the how to play with figures a bit? Because that sounds a bit like you don't just bash them together, do you, James? Oh, come on, come off it.
Or fly them in the air when they can't fly.
Stormtroopers don't just fly in the air.
Yeah.
There needs to be some sort of imaginary limb movement.
Yeah, at least try and keep it in the world of realism and articulate the figures properly.
Yeah, and James, and you saw how well I could play with Star Wars figure.
I was like,
and
we were
you
good.
glowed.
We were good. And you got me back into Star Wars figures at that point, but I didn't start collecting them again. I aided you with.
Yeah, like most things in my life, it was a bit of an obsession. I have to get every single thing. I have to work out, what's there that I need to collect. But and then we started going boot selling, didn't we? And that's when we could do a 20-acre boot sale in under 5 minutes.
Yep. Very proud of our walking around boot sales. Being cheeky,
like was it speed walking? When that was that fitness when they walk really fast. We'd do that through the aisles of boot sales looking for Star Wars figures, and you could spot them, couldn't you? You'd know which stalls would be the ones to sift through.
Yeah, and we started and feeling that nostalgia already then. So even it's constant nostalgia. And then
the smell of them when you open them up from the box, they
you
still
did
smell.
You did your
amazing.
collection there, and you kept on growing that collection, and you got the full collection.
I did, but no, not quite. But then I said, do that. There used to be a very old man that used to come around my house.
I remember. I
Derek.
remember him well.
Derek, that was his name.
Did Derek come round your house?
I think he did, and my mum would have to leave.
Why?
And
It's
he
just
gave some
awkward
really
between
good deals for some Star Wars figures if I just did a few things. But no, he looked like Weequay.
He did look like Weequay, yeah, minus the hair. He didn't have the
That's what
cool
I used
hair.
to call him. He looked like Weequay. So already he's a good person to do Star Wars trading with. But he's like, it was ridiculous money then, wasn't it? It was like 40 quid for a last 17 figure, and when you're 9 or 10,
Yeah, madness.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
So would you say you've had a Star Wars figure in your proximity from the age of 3 or 4 to now?
No,
Always in your home. Is there a time when you didn't have any Star Wars figures?
no. When I first got with my fiance,
She burnt them all.
yeah, we did a Burning Man in the garden when I was just on my knees, gripping turf, and grasping my fingers, screaming. And she was like, "No, you have to grow up now."
Grow up, pig.
But grow up, Ugnaught. But they, I obviously didn't have a job because I was not obviously, but
I obviously didn't have a job because I was a loser.
because I was a loser. No, 17, 8, no, 19. Who doesn't have a job at 19? That's bad, isn't it? But I didn't have a job then, so I sold them all to take her out on like dinners.
Oh God!
Can you? What romantic.
Did you sell them or did you take them to dinners and try and pay with
Do you know where I sold them?
Titash? As the local Indian restaurant, sorry.
Can I have this linguine, please? Yeah, that's 3
One-
stormtroopers and a speeder bike. Yeah, there you go. And keep the
Keep the masks.
change. It was they were. I sold them at cash converters.
Oh God.
And what place to sell them?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that was very odd in there. But there was a guy that was obviously like, like a dealer himself, or a collector, and he happened to work in his spare time at cash converters. Think of the joy he had when I walked in with a Tesco bag full.
Here he comes.
And
And your Ben Sherman shirt and your white chinos
here
ready
we
to
go.
go out on a date.
Here we go. Come
Hold on, Laura. I'm just stopping at Cash Converters. Get me
Yeah.
some sweet, sweet do-re me.
We got Ask tonight.
Ask.
Ask booked up, and that's when I sold them, and then I got into like adult things like drinking and going out wakeboarding and having fun. But that went from the era of 19 to, and then I realised what I'd done at the age of like 28. I bought them all back for what they are worth as well.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot. Do you remember those little plastic cases I got with them? Those like boxes
Yeah.
of Sci-Fi Sci.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a name. That's a good trader name. And I bought but I still had I think I had a few left over. I had Ozzy Osbourne's
He's not a character.
Ozzy Osbourne's
What's he?
Say
in?
Goodbye outfit.
Ozzy Osbourne. He's in Jabba's palace.
Yeah. No, I had his Princess Leia, didn't I? I had Jack Osbourne's Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that was a kid at school. His auntie was on the road with Ozzy Osbourne. I think she was like a PA or something.
Mm-hmm.
And her son played with his son or something, and they played toys, and then that figure got over to this kid I knew at school, and I traded it with him, and I still had that figure.
Now, does that mean that figure is worth more because
Because that's a bullshit story.
it's touched by Jack Osbourne?
Yeah, I don't know in any way if that's actually true, but I think it is. I'd like to think it is. It's a good story.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
My other figures, my Lando was owned by Whitney Houston. God rest her soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't be having to give that back.
No, I put on her music, lit some candles, and buried it in my garden next to my old dog.
So okay. So there was some dark time when you didn't have it, and now you bought them all back.
Yeah, and they've now sat in a box until recently, where my kids have just been playing with them, and there's a cabinet at home that are all in. But it's bad because I keep saying, can I take that one to bed tonight? Can I have that one? Or if they're a bit upset, I give them a figure. Now it's just they're just laying, in a cabinet with their weapons all sideways and stuff.
Yeah. When I come round to your house and I find like a Zuckus or a Forlom or whatever just on the floor being stood on by a cat.
Those cats have heavy paws.
And if we weren't good friends, I'd nick it. If
Yeah.
I was round someone else's house and I saw a Star Wars figure being treated like that, I'd call Star Wars Social Services
Yeah.
and I'd steal that figure away and put it into a better home, i.e. mine.
Yeah, but recently I looked at how much like a blue snaggletooth was, and it was like a couple £100. And I was
They're
like,
shooting up.
I shouldn't let my children play with these.
No, you shouldn't. So we spent a lot of time there talking about the memories and the figures. How did you start collecting figures? As we said, obviously they were bought for us as kids.
Yeah.
Or you inherit them from brothers and sisters. Because I remember my sister would get Star Wars figures as well.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't really play with them too much, but
It's a girl.
my dad would get them for us.
Right.
So that's that. So then we come round to the prequels. You know, we had no Star Wars for a long time,
Yeah.
and then the 90s came.
That was our first year at college, wasn't it?
Yeah, first year at college.
Well, there was the special editions, wasn't there?
Right, special editions. Yeah,
And they came out in the cinema. But I don't.
no, I didn't see them.
I don't think I did either.
I didn't see them.
But I had them on video because I had the obviously everyone had the first load on video, and then they Titles Music Video Club. Do you remember that in town? That's where
Yeah.
I got them from.
Yeah.
And I had the original trilogy, and then they got the special edition brought out, and you hadn't watched the special edition for ages.
No.
had you?
No, right. Again,
You were
there's
too
times-
old to like be surprised by the updates they put in it.
There was times in my life where it's always been around, but sometimes it hasn't seemed important. But now I'd say it's more important than ever.
Yeah, you'd ring me up and say, John, you know Jabba's in Tatooine now?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, didn't we have that discussion when it was happening? But you're right, that was
So you
that was
told
the next stage, and then
you
it was,
told me he did them as a test to see where CGI had got to before making the prequels. Is that?
I think
is
that,
right?
I think George Lucas always wanted to do the next lot of Star Wars films, which happened to be the prequels, and he'd seen what CGI had done on Jurassic Park, which stopped all the practical effects sort of pretty much dead in the ground, and people like we were talking about earlier on Phil Tippett and that they did all the special effects, the stop motion and all that sort of stuff. They were sort of out of a job, but then Spielberg got them in to show the CG artists how the dinosaur would move, which meant still making the armatures and that for them to copy. And then Lucas saw that and was like, right, okay, now's the time to experiment with the Star Wars films. And I think that's where the special editions of Star Wars, you know, he was using those effects and thought, yes, looks good, happy with this. Phantom Menace came out. Where at that time, me and you were at college drinking and doing all sorts.
Yeah, just being cool. Generally cool dudes
that weren't into Star Wars, but we were well happy to know
I
there's
was
a new
pumped when
Yeah.
The Phantom Menace was coming out. I worked in a video shop at the time. I
Yeah.
worked in Movie Madness, and I remember being...
We didn't watch the midnight viewing in town, but we watched the available one, which was like 10 o'clock. I remember it in town. We went to college for like an hour, then met up
Did we?
in Crouch Street, went to the cinema. It was like, I think Carl Hill was with us. There was like 4 or 5 of us. We watched it, and we had the Qui-Gon Jinn lightsabers that we were fighting with on the high street.
Yeah. I think there might have been a couple of guys from my from college as well. Because I remember the lightsabers. When we drive them around town with holding them out the window, we were so cool back then. What happened to us?
I don't know. I mean, what? Yeah.
We
Jack,
were so
should we just get in the car? Should we end this now? Get in the car and drive around the island with our lightsabers at the window.
Well, as long as it's our lightsabers and not painted willies.
Yes. Well, mine's glowing. James, we walked out of that cinema after seeing that, and we were just looking at each other for a while, weren't we?
And then we kissed.
That's the first we had our first kiss.
I remember liking lots of it, and we hadn't seen something like
Maul
that.
was amazing. I still think that whole sequence with Maul and everything is brilliant. I've actually liked it more, I think, recently while watching it. There's more practical effects and miniatures in that film than any of the original trilogy put together.
In
Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, and people say that's full CG. just because they had like Jar Jar and that sort of thing.
Well, there's CGI in every scene, isn't it? That's one thing that
Yeah.
there's CGI in every single
But
scene.
all the pod racing, the pits where they go in, like most of the ships you see are all models, or started off as models, and yeah, they've got more practical effects in that than the original trilogy put together.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. Wow.
That is certainly something.
But we were like, we wanted to like it so much as well.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I've enjoyed watching all of them in the cinema, the ones I've seen, even the sequels. I've enjoyed them at the time. It's only afterwards when you start going, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I like the hype. I like getting excited for stuff.
Yeah.
People that say, oh, it's going to be shit, not watching that. I'm like, well, why are you even giving it a chance? What's the point in not getting excited about something that's coming out? You might get let down, but that's half the fun, isn't it?
I even enjoyed Jar Jar Binks when I first saw it. He did make me laugh when he got his head stuck in the pod.
Yeah.
And he went, my tongue, my tongue.
That's a
made
good
me laugh.
impression, yeah.
And you know, an animal farts and he stands in poo and stuff like that. So hey, you know, at the time, it's only afterwards you go, what is that in now? I don't get that.
That wasn't when I was watching it. I wasn't going right. I'm out of here.
No,
it was fun.
I think Qui-Gon was great.
Yeah,
I think we could talk about the prequels and all the issues for ages. I
remember Sam Smith had it on Laserdisc. How exciting was that? That he got a Star Wars film come through from Japan or something in Laserdisc, and people were going around his house watching it before it came out in video.
Right.
And all that was exciting. It was still very much old school, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember pirating the video, renting it, pirating it, and making a case for it with pictures I'd cut out from a magazine. We were so cool back then.
Of Candice magazine. Just pictures of toasters and things. That's all it's like.
Yeah, it was great, and we'll do another show about the prequels and how they could have been done better. But
there's too much to discuss there.
Yeah, I think they were. You know, they came out for better for worse. You know, and we got them, and there's some good stuff. And as you say, Maul's good. I think Qui-Gon's good. I think as time went on,
is fantastic. It's amazing.
I think the main issue is, you know, in that one, probably Jake Lloyd.
Yeah,
Jake Lloyd and the droids.
You didn't need to go so young.
No.
You could start off as a
teenager.
That was fine. You didn't need to see him as a kid. That was And
do you know what though? That poster that came out for the Phantom Menace, little Jake Lloyd and Darth Vader's shadow.
Yeah,
that's
brilliant.
Very exciting when that came out.
Have you seen the DVD extras on it where there's a kid? They're doing casting for the Anakin role.
Yeah.
And there's a kid that's brilliant.
I think I have seen that.
Blonde kid, and he does this like, "Are you an angel?" or something like that. And it's great. And George Lucas is watching him, and that's pretty good. Yeah. And then fucking Jake Lloyd turns up, and he's like, "Wow, this kid can't talk." I can manipulate him, and they chose him. And this other kid's like brilliant.
He had already done some films, Jake Lloyd, hadn't he? He'd already done Jingle All the Way with.
That's right, with Schwarzenegger and stuff. Yeah.
And something else as well, I think.
And he was a little kid to us back then.
Yeah.
But he's only like 7 or 8 years younger than us.
No, he's much younger.
I think he's like 30.
I mean, he's had a terrible life, hasn't he? Since then, they really didn't look after him at Lucasfilm.
Well, you're going to mess with the dark side of the Force, James. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So that's the prequels. I've put. Did they live up to the hype? I think when you first watched them, they probably lived up to some of the hype for us young fans. Probably some of the older fans that we are now. It didn't. But I think there's been a resurgence in the prequels recently. People are coming round to liking them again and
I remember
them and going, do you know what? Now they're nostalgic for them, I think. And like with us riding around town with our lightsabers hanging out.
Yeah, it brought Star Wars back, whether the films are bad or not. Everyone loves Star Wars again.
Yeah.
I remember getting excited about Attack of the Clones. That was the first time it was like on the net. You could watch a preview of a film, like these QuickTime videos. And stuff like that. They brought out the featurettes of Attack of the Clones. We were watching them at work, and then we watched Revenge of the Sith together in London at midnight, didn't we? Me, you, and Vass.
No, I wasn't there.
Oh, maybe it was me, Vass, and Alex.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
I saw it. I think I was at uni when Revenge of the Sith came out. I saw it in Wakefield.
Yeah.
Which was it's the best one, isn't it? And again, there's some great bits in that. You underestimate my power. That's probably the best bit.
Uber. When the babies are being born at the end.
Yeah, God, terrible. But so they've had a bit of a resurgence. Do they live up do they still stand up now? I watched them recently. We over lockdown 1.
Yeah, I think Phantom
them and,
Menace is actually the one that stands up more than the rest. Have you seen the scene where Anakin's speaking to Mace Windu in the hangar about at the end when he's like, "Well, if what you told us is true,
what,
you know?"
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, the background is like so low res. You can just it
Really?
takes you completely out of it. It looks like they're just standing in front of a green screen.
You're talking about in terms of holding up. You mean special effects and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You think Phantom Menace holds up the best out of the three?
Yeah, maybe because it's a lot of practical stuff used.
Well, yeah, because in Attack of the Clones, you got like Anakin surfing a big cow thing,
Don't slag that off. That's brilliant.
and
then he moulds into like the smooth skinned,
and flops off.
floppy thing. Yeah. Oh god, that's awful. That.
Yeah.
But again, we can go on about that. But
yeah,
I don't hate them at all.
No.
They're just part of Star Wars.
I'll
now.
happily put them on in the background.
Yeah.
Then we've, there was a lot of stuff in between Rebels and Clone Wars. We're not going to discuss that. Even though we've watched it all, we are true fans. We've watched all of the cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
We've even both watched the Holiday Special, original.
Yeah, I think I've had to make that in 2 parts, so that wasn't...
No, it can't be watched in one go. It's about 2 hours long, isn't it?
A whipster, with that woman thing with 4 arms making a cake and Chewie's dad masturbating over that woman.
It's the weirdest... Was George Lucas involved in that?
No, I don't.
He can't
I
have
think
watched
he
it.
gave them the blessing, and then they just went to town on ludicrous. I mean, Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill, they're in it. Aren't
They're all in, and Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
They're all in
yeah.
it.
But well, Lucas said famously he wants to find every copy of that and smash it up with a hammer, doesn't he?
But what were they thinking as they were filming it?
Well, it was before Empire, wasn't it? So it was still in that era of this is a. I mean, the canteen though with the Golden Girls.
Yeah, with B. Arthur.
No, all of the Golden Girls in there singing.
One more
drink, my friend. Yeah, that's so bad it's good.
Yeah,
but I like all the
No, it's not so bad,
everyone's
it's
in it.
So actually, what I would say is, I'd say how did they do it? All of the scenes that, if you look at all the Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie scenes, they're probably not that bad. Their scenes.
No, I think like the Kashyyyk. I think there's like map paintings of like Kashyyyk and stuff using it that Ralph McQuarrie did. It's like concept art and stuff.
But no, but the actual scene, they wouldn't have seen Dorothy from the Golden Girls singing when they were filming it. They wouldn't have seen that 'cause they're not in that. They wouldn't have seen Lumpy or whoever it is rubbing one out to that lady singer, that disco singer. They wouldn't have seen whip, sir. They wouldn't have seen any of this.
No.
So they just went in and did their bits, and on set of New Hope it would have looked tacky as crap. It's only once it's filmed and stuff. You don't know what you're doing when it's all out there.
I reckon if you filmed the Cantina differently, the original one, and played it back, it could look awful.
Yeah.
But the way they've edited it, the low light, the smoke in it. I mean, Greedo. If you look at him as a character in like there's a shot of him in high heels, isn't there? Woman played him and a man played him.
Yeah.
He's got like a shiny orange jacket on and like bendy fingers that can't pull a trigger on a gun properly, and like a mouth that's been pulled by a bit of string or something inside that goes up and down. It looks awful.
Yeah.
But there's a scene in the cantina where he slowly turns his head round, isn't there? I think that's the image on the car back.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Because they haven't exaggerated his mouth flying up and down. They haven't twitched his ears or anything. It's a slow move of his head in a dark, dingy room. And a lot of those were all like, is it Rick Baker, his special effects artist back in the day? They're like stuff off his shelf that he just had. They didn't have a budget to make stuff. So the Wolfman and stuff was the Wolfman from horror films and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, and they just put him in like a jacket that was specific to Tatooine or something. You know, they put him there in the corner. The devil bloke. Yeah. He was from a different like B movie.
Well, there's a couple of astronauts in there as well, isn't there? There's that little chap with the gas mask on. What gas mask is that he's wearing?
World War II gas mask. Yeah, and like all the heads are all IG-88 Derwent engines and that sort of thing. But yeah, that film definitely would look awful. But the way it's been edited, cut, and portrayed like that is fantastic. But yeah, they're all the same costumes as in that B. Arthur.
Yeah, but it just looks dreadful.
Yeah.
So we've seen that. We're watched all that there is, and then we get the sequels. You know, the recent sequels. Force Awakens.
That was our first taste, wasn't it? Back to Star Wars. We had the trailer that everyone went mad about. You saw the Falcon flipping through.
Yeah.
It was almost probably like the most exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, wasn't it? It was. We've got it back.
We saw that set photo in black and white where you've got all the original cast and George Lucas and the new cast all sat around doing a read through.
I know. I don't think George Lucas was there.
Is Lucas not in there?
That's because he sold it to Disney, didn't he?
Mark Hamill's there. Harrison Ford's there.
And Mark Hamill did the whole screenplay. He read it, didn't he? And I'm sure they just got him to do that because
he's got no lines.
His only speaking part is at the end, isn't it?
He doesn't say anything.
I don't think he does. No, yeah.
No.
I think at the end he says, and then you see a misty figure staring out into the distance or something. So they're like, shit, we've got everyone back in this room.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill hasn't got any lines. Least we can do is give him something to do. So he did the read through to everyone.
He did the stage directions.
Yeah, he like the narrator.
I think he did do that.
Yeah.
Didn't it? Jesus Christ! What a waste!
What a waste! And then.
Sorry about that phone call. It wasn't Mark Hamill. It was in fact
Star Wars dealer, mate.
Star Wars dealers. My dealer. So we were talking about Force Awakens and potentially what a waste it was having all of those cast back. They've also all of the cast have said this, haven't they? Like Mark Hamill especially. What a waste not
he's
having
had
all
this,
three of them on the same
Well,
scene.
it's hard for him, isn't it? You can't just go. What a waste of. I was promised big things, and then my career was just wasted again. Well, not again, but it's just he definitely wasn't happy with how it was run, and he said that it was the original characters he wanted to sit next to, didn't he? He wanted one. Did he say one shot of them in the cockpit of the Falcon with just all of them together again? Which everyone wanted as well. They could have done that easily.
Why would you not do that?
Yeah,
You've got the main people back. You've even got Peter Mayhew in. As Chewie.
he came in, did some
bits.
seated cockpit shots, didn't he?
You could have had when you know. I mean, who wrote it? JJ wrote it, right, along with some other people.
JJ, yeah, he didn't want to do it at the start. It was too precious, wasn't it? It was too. He didn't want to fiddle with something that was, he wouldn't. And he was a good director that had a, history of excellent films. So why would you want to suddenly ruin that on the biggest franchise film ever?
Here's the thing, like at one point we'll do a podcast where we'll go back and we'll redo the prequels, how they could have been done better in retrospect. Looking at the sequels, again, you just need to watch the original films and go, what worked in these original films? Yeah. And
but that's like what, jumping forward a bit, Mandalorian has done.
Yeah,
it's not just fan service. It's, who cares if it's fan service anyway? But the point is, it's what everyone wanted to see.
Yeah,
it's just, it makes sense.
As I say, we'll talk about all the sequels individually on individual future podcasts that I think people really enjoy and really looking forward to already.
I think they are.
But if we had
my dad's going to listen.
If we had to sum up the sequels entirely, did they give us anything we wanted?
This,
as super fans, or even as just strong fans.
You saw Han and Chewie back together.
Right, okay. Yeah.
You saw the Falcon.
The Falcon, I think, is a gimme. It's a ship. You could do that whenever.
Yeah, but Chewie we're home. That trailer.
Yes, brilliant.
Amazing. But yeah, I enjoyed Force Awakens. I thoroughly enjoyed. I came back thinking, right, here we go. This is going to be good. And the next film, I was like, what is this? Straight away, Luke chucks the saber behind his head. Total waste. But everyone said this. It's all been done, isn't it? It's just.
It's all been done, yeah.
It's But then we had Rogue One, didn't we?
Well, before we go on Rogue One, yeah, because Force Awakens. I mean, I think this is right. Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo, and then Rise of Skywalker. But if we just throw the sequels in together, and then we'll go on and we'll talk about Rogue One and we'll talk about Solo. But I think people have dissected them to death and what's crap about them. But that's what, go back to my question, did they give us anything that we wanted. They gave us Chewie and Han back together, which was cool.
If you put it out on paper, you're going to see Han and Leia's kid turn to the dark side.
Yeah.
You're going to see Luke Skywalker back. Luke Skywalker had a training academy. That all is what we thought would have happened.
Yeah.
Trying to kill him in his sleep, all that sort of stuff. It sounds great, and then it just, when you watch it, it doesn't make you.
We didn't see any of the training academy.
No,
we didn't get Han and Leia and Luke and Chewie in one scene together.
No,
that's criminal. They could have done that in The Force Awakens. They could have done it in Last Jedi in a flashback.
Yeah,
because they obviously, spoiler alert, they kill off Han Solo at the end of The Force Awakens. They could have done a flashback and had them all in a scene.
Definitely.
Having Life Day dinner.
Chewie in a red long robe.
He's in his big robe. It flaps open. Whoops, you see a bit of Chewie penis. They're like, oh, you could have done that up, Chewbacca.
He crosses his legs.
Yeah, very basic instinct.
In the interview.
And they've drunk too much eggnog.
Yeah.
The Jawas like. And, it's all a bit crazy. But I don't
Harrison Ford is brilliant, isn't it? In it. It was great.
And I really liked Finn. I thought he was great. That's not how the Force works. I laughed a lot.
Yeah,
he was good.
Boyfriend. All that.
Yeah.
It's great.
I enjoyed it. I really like, even though it was a bit of a beat for beat of A New Hope again.
I didn't care. If it works, it works.
Yeah, I didn't care.
If it's got a good beat, it's got a good beat.
There was some bits that could have. There's loads that could have worked better. Anyway, we'll go on to them individually, and as I say, I think people are really looking forward to that already.
I think they're really looking forward to it.
We had Rogue One after Force Awakens. What did you think of Rogue One?
James, one of my favourite Star Wars films.
Really?
Yeah. That straight after Mrs. Doubtfire is one of my favourite Star Wars films. No, I love it. I think it's brilliant. I didn't care that Tarkin looked a bit off, all that sort of thing. He's in it. Yeah. I thought the British actor, he's in Casualty, isn't he, that guy? What's his name?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But he's Harry Potter.
He's brilliant.
He's in Extras, Ricky Gervais Extras as well.
Yeah, he's the agent. Brilliant. So good. All the trailers, the klaxon going off with the Star Destroyer. Wah, wah, wah. That one. No, the... Woo! Yeah, all that. Vader smashing people against the wall, chucking his lightsaber, all that. It's just, again, everything we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Moments before the blockade runner gets...
Everything we didn't know we wanted to see, but
straight away, Cassian Andor just shoots his guy in the stomach.
Yeah.
It's just, it's dark.
Yeah.
And, we saw those trailers as well at the start of all the X-Wing pilots getting herded through that town. And they've got like bleeding noses and stuff, and they've been beaten up, and then that got taken away. That was a bit too bloody, wasn't it? There was a bit of a hoo-ha about that. But there's fan service again. You've got that Dr. Evans, I know what his name is, and, but again, doesn't matter. The downed X-Wing, seeing the ATSD walking around. Jyn Erso's brilliant. I really enjoyed her character.
Yeah.
At the end, no one survives obviously because they can't, so you just get wiped out, and it's
sad.
Just,
and K2SO?
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Really
hilarious.
Good.
Yeah.
Really
very good.
Really good comedy. Mads Mikkelsen, brilliant. Your Australian guy, General... That's embarrassing. We're supposed to be experts. The main villain. What's his name? Crocodile Dundee. What's his name?
Yeah, I know. Crocodile Dundee, yeah.
General Crocodile Dundee.
That's it, yeah. You shouldn't have brought a spoon to a knife fight.
Yeah, you shouldn't have brought a spoon to a blaster fight.
That's
that
him,
yeah. He's brilliant. He's great. He's old school British.
Troublesome as ever.
Yeah, he's good, even though he's an Aussie. He's great. I agree. Do you think it's easier to do a film where, as I say, it's the film we didn't think we wanted or know we wanted, and when we got it, we go, oh yeah, I wanted all of this, because there wasn't any expectation.
Yeah, and they're also playing in the sandbox of the original trilogy, so it's all laid out, it's all done.
Yeah, you
can explore it. Everyone's going to be happy to see stuff they've seen in the past. Yeah, but again, Gareth Edwards, he did it, but then towards the end, didn't some other director come in and basically
I think so. Yeah, there
Do
was
what
definitely a
Disney
change
told
in
him.
directors.
But he kept his mouth shut and did the right thing.
But ultimately, that might have been the right thing with the because
Before it came out, everyone was panicking that this is going to be a shit show. Everyone's just dipping their fingers in and just making this strange film that everyone's having their say about. And then when it came out, it was like, "Hang on, this is really good." No crawl at the start.
Yeah.
Had like the planets' names in the corner of the screen, which was a bit odd.
That took you out of it a little bit, doesn't it? It makes it a bit more sci-fi than sci-fantasy.
Yeah, it was
more like Alien.
It just wasn't needed.
No,
It
but
was
they
like,
jumped around a lot at the start. So
they
I think
did,
that was
yeah,
just-
but it was
I agree, it wasn't needed.
no. And then what was up? Did Rise of Skywalker come out of that next?
After Rogue One, it was Last Jedi.
Last Jedi, yeah.
Which-
See that's all that now. I've seen that twice. That film. I've got. It's Star Wars, so I don't hate it, but I've got no, sense of wanting to watch that again. I've got no feelings to stick that on.
I enjoyed it in the cinema. Again, it's afterwards when you start reflecting and thinking about it. I did actually really enjoy. I did enjoy the bit where Luke came. where Luke came to fight. But he shouldn't have been where he was in the first
that
place.
battle was good.
When he has that, when they
they're
fire all that stuff at him,
yeah.
fire every gun at him, and he just walks out and dusts his shoulder. I thought that was fantastic.
Did he say something like "see around kid" or something?
Yeah, he does the see around kid, which is
that's good.
Han Solo says that, right?
Yeah, but that's, okay. That was
And
good.
even just their little fight was fine, because I guess I thought I was going to get more of Luke later. I didn't necessarily.
Yeah, we didn't know that was going to be it.
Yeah, and then he sort of faded away at the end, and you're like, huh?
Floated away. Yeah.
Oh, a wasted death.
Yeah, what's the point of that? It's like it wasn't going so well anyway, and then they just on the way out of the cinema kicked you with him dying. Yeah, that was. And was that the start? The your mama jokes and all that with Hux.
Your Mama Jokes was in Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, that wasn't neat. It's too real world. It's too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's not Star Wars.
It's like Family Guy, isn't it? After Last Jedi, again, we'll have a full conversation about Last Jedi on a podcast of its own. And again, I think people are really looking forward to hearing that already.
I think they're going to be so excited for that.
Solo. Yeah. Controversial one.
I enjoyed it. I liked it.
That is controversial.
Because it's not Harrison Ford. So there's no point even expecting it.
Expecting to enjoy it.
So I'm going to go and hating this, and then I was pleasantly surprised. No, I liked it.
Really?
I thought Woody Harrelson was going to be like, again, do we need Woody Harrelson in Star Wars? Is that going to make any sense at all? Is he a Star Wars kind of actor? And he did fine. I thought the whole Mimban bit with the mud and Chewie fighting him and all that sort of thing. There's a lot of things in it that was just silly.
Well, had Chewie been eating people?
Yeah, I think
he's surrounded by bones, right?
He was made to be out like a miniature Rancor, wasn't he? Like
Yeah.
They were chucking people in.
And Chewie's can be an aggressive fighter, as we know, but he's a very sweet, kind-hearted creature. So,
chess player.
So would he be eating people?
Well,
how damaged is the Chewbacca we see later on in life from
how
eating?
how hungry is? At one point, I was living in mud, ripping people apart just to survive.
Yeah.
With chains on my neck.
Well, now when I watch New Hope and I see him looking at Han, like I can see the hunger in him wanting to eat the human flesh.
I
off
can
his
see him
bones.
just licking his lips at R2's limbs.
Yeah. So there's loads of issues with Solo. I think.
Yeah, it is all over the place.
I think
but
it's a
still
disgraceful film.
I like the Infest Nest bikes. I like the train.
Well, you're a man who likes his models and
I do.
effects, practical effects and stuff like that. So there's a lot in there for you because
Yeah, but also not
good
the
people
music.
work
They were like the choir, like shouting and singing and all that sort of excitement.
Look,
there.
I can watch it and enjoy it, and I actually didn't mind the Kessel Run. I know a lot of people didn't like the Kessel Run, but I didn't mind that
either.
at all. My main issues with it are Alden Ehrenreich. He's not Han Solo in any way, shape or form. The fact that it took him 3 years to try and get a spaceship to fly back to rescue Danny from Game of Thrones. That story didn't make any sense.
Chucking Darth Maul in at the end was
Chucking Darth Maul in the end.
wasted character again. If he's going to be in it, he might as well be in it.
The having the Imperial March music playing as he signed up.
Yeah,
like,
and calling and being named Solo by an Imperial.
Yeah, his name was Han Solo. He wasn't given the name Solo because he's on his own.
Yeah, and the Lady Proxima wasted again. That's I'm holding a thermal detonator in my hand. It's just a rock. All that.
Yeah, that's not Star Wars, is it?
That's stupid.
That's stupid.
You know what? I hate Solo, and I hate everything about it.
It's but again, yeah, I could watch it as a dumb.
I like the soundtrack.
Action.
Soundtrack was good.
Bloody good soundtrack.
Bloody good soundtrack.
Top 10 soundtrack.
All right, let's leave Solo behind.
Okay,
we'll keep going.
And then Rise.
But that left a nasty taste in the mouth of fans.
Yep.
And apparently, why would have been the third, wouldn't it? Have been the last one. That would have been Rise of Skywalker. That was the reason that failed. Well, none of them failed at the box office at all. But that was the reason that people stepped away from seeing that, apparently, didn't they? Because of Solo.
Yeah, I think anyone who
Solo wasn't needed. We didn't need a film about Han Solo.
No, of course we didn't. We didn't need. That's like
we needed a film about Lobot and his crazy buddies.
I'd love a film. I've got Lobot here.
Lobuddies.
There's Lobot. There he is. Nobody's gonna be a mother.
What's Lobot up to this week?
Putting other things around his bald head. Strapping things to his bald head. Yeah, I agree that with everything you said. And then Rise of Skywalker. I think people went to see it anyway. You know, people will go, I'm not going to watch that. I'm going to cancel my subscription.
Yeah, but it's the final one, and JJ was back, so we had hope.
But the retcons that they did right from the beginning,
wasted opportunities again. At the end, with Rey not having all the Force ghosts behind her of the Jedi, with her like pushing against Palps.
Also, a lightsaber battle.
Mm.
They did, you know, where was
the big snake in the healing the snake, the cut snake, the quicksand.
Yeah, the dagger that's from the Goonies that tells you where things are.
All that little weird. What's that little bloke called that fixed 3PO? Although he was quite funny.
Yeah, I liked him. Bongo. Can't remember his name. It's something like Bongo Moss or something.
Yeah, it is.
He was the best thing in it. C-3PO going, I'm taking one last look at my friends. He barely spoke to them.
No, and they're not his mates.
They should have said that.
They should hear what they say about him behind his back.
We're not your mates. Take a look at that.
Yeah.
Take a look at that.
For the listener, James is holding up his middle finger.
Yeah. There was some bad movie making.
Yeah, it was all rushed, and again, too many chefs, and it was, I don't know. It was all right. The final battle when all the ships turned up was cool, but again, that might be just because I'm into all that.
No, I enjoyed that, and I'm not into all that.
All right.
Yeah, I enjoyed that when they all turned up, but it's
Leia died. Why did Leia die?
Because she died in real life.
Because she was upset about the Mary Poppins scene in the previous film.
I actually like the Mary Poppins.
I was on the edge of my seat watching that.
Yeah.
With tears.
Because she had already died before that film came out.
Thinking, this is it.
Yeah.
And then she just... Spoonful of sugar.
She opened her eyes and I liked it.
And I was like, what?
I liked it.
Yeah, that could have been it. That could have been the way to finish her. Because she was... What was she doing? She was stopping Kylo from killing the rest of her fleet.
Well, hang on. You're going back to Last Jedi. Last
I'm
Jedi,
all over
Mary
the place.
Poppins,
Have you seen Solo?
Going back to... Well, after Last Jedi, she doesn't do anything until she comes in and shoots Poe. No. Again, wasted in Last Jedi. You got three of the most iconic characters of all time, and you're going
completely.
And apparently the agenda is to try and push the new characters, but that's bullshit.
Which is fine.
We've all watched Cobra Kai,
haven't
we? Everyone listening has watched Cobra Kai, and you see how you use the original iconic characters and still get your younger characters across.
Yep. And Luke's good at crying.
Right? Looking at wrestling, right? You look at wrestling, the older guys, the legends, they are used at the end of their careers to get the younger wrestlers across. So they battle, they have big fights with these, and usually, you know, they probably will go out on their back, but they'll still have some wins as well because they're big champs. So Luke and Rey, like Rey besting Luke, it just didn't make sense, like where it was.
I know, it was just like they were just searching for jokes all the time and hoping that it would still be a kiddie film, and I don't know.
Rise of Sky. So we were on Rise. Sorry, we'll go back to Rise of Skywalker, and again, we will do a full podcast on that film. And again, I think people are really looking forward.
I think they're really looking forward to that.
So that's Rise of Skywalker. So as you can tell, listeners, we are big fans. We've watched it all, even the bits that people don't like. Have we missed one? No.
No, that was it, wasn't it?
Originals.
Well, so
prequels.
yes, The Mandalorian, isn't it? After that.
Well,
but then
now,
there's TV series.
Yeah, now we're on the TV shows. We are there, and not excluding Rebels and Clone Wars, because we're not going to talk about them, even though we have watched them all.
Yeah.
And
They were just filler for a while for me, really, to be honest. Some of Clone Wars was amazing, and George Lucas had his input and all that. But
I agree. Yeah, there was too many of them.
I was. If I had to go back now and watch it all again, there's too much droid episodes where C-3PO is walking about R2 trying to find some key or something, and then there's really important stuff like the Anakin seeing the two sides of the Sith and all that. You have to cherry pick the important bits out of that.
Yeah,
that makes sense through the Rebels and Mandalorian. And
yeah,
that sort
you could probably put a list together, actually, couldn't you? And you could probably go watch that.
Like, I'd
how many
forgotten.
episodes are there per season? 22 or something?
Yeah, it's a lot. Having watched The Mandalorian, I'd forgotten all stuff about the Mandalorians.
Yeah.
And I think like all the Bo-Katan, all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
she's in it. But I couldn't remember. I was going in as a fresh sort of a general viewer.
But anyway, so we have watched all the cartoons and we do enjoy them. They are good. There's some really good stuff in there.
Rebels was good.
It was. Yeah. But maybe we'll do another show on them.
Yeah, the Maul and Obi-Wan fight in Rebels.
Maul and Obi-Wan is fantastic.
Having
Also,
Aunt Beru call for Luke at the end.
Iron Brew. Aunt Beru. Iron Brew. Sorry.
Iron Brew.
Yeah. Luke.
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
Is that Aunt Beru, or is that the woman from the grandma from The Witches calling her grandson?
It's B. Arthur calling Roald Dahl on the phone.
One day we'll probably do a full podcast about those cartoons.
James, I think we've got a lot of podcasts here that a lot of people are looking forward to.
Everybody's looking forward to it already.
Yeah.
So we're at Mandalorian. Mandalorian, the bringing it back.
Best thing since the original trilogy.
Is it?
Well, is it? It is
Better than I
better than Caravan of
agree,
Courage.
I think. Better than Rogue One?
Yeah, in my opinion, I think it is. I think Dave Filoni is George Lucas's bastard child.
Yeah.
So he knows how to do things properly. And then you've got Favreau that just is filmmaking excellence, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's a big fan. They're big fans. They care. They know everything in it.
It's back to the fan service that is proper fan service that we need.
You can still get stories out of it.
Watching the trailer of the man, did we see the bit when he fires his grappling hook through the door and pulls that Tessek squid face, slams
chops him in half
straight away? It's like watching the end of Dusk Till Dawn or something. It's just like brilliant. There's just going to be so much chaos and adult action. And then Baby Yoda is just Baby Yoda, James, Baby Yoda.
Bliss. Baby Yoda. People have said, and I can take this on board, that Mandalorian episodes are like chapters from a computer game.
Yeah.
It's just a level from a computer game. You've got to get to that point to complete
There was
that
episodes
level.
where I was worried that are we just doing different things now? We're just going somewhere else and another story happens and then that's it. That won't matter.
Yeah.
Like the ATST on that swampy planet.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what's going to happen here? But towards the end of the seasons, they built up so much of a
arc. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I loved it. I loved it. There were some episodes that were weaker than others.
Yeah, but that's TV series, isn't it?
I think series 2 was really good.
Yeah, but the way that he can do so much emotive acting with a helmet on was brilliant.
A helmet and a puppet.
Yeah, like
Baby Yoda and Mandalorian. There's some
him
great stuff.
like just silly things like him hating droids, and then towards the end of season 1, his IG-11's traipsing through lava, burning to hell, pulling him through just to make sure he survives. And he's all the Death Watch stuff as a kid, and it's fantastic. Loved it. And the Fett coming back was just, a lot of people got very precious about Fett, didn't they? But for me, let's bring it on. It's brilliant. That's what we need.
I thought he was incredible. He was,
and he's such a good actor.
Luke was the highlight, but maybe
I had tears dripping off my cheeks at what I stubbed my toe just before I watched. No, the Luke. It was. I think I was hungover as well, so that didn't. That was. I was feeling sorry for myself anyway.
That had that season. So here's the problem. Some people are like, who the hell is Ahsoka? People who haven't watched cartoons don't care about.
It doesn't matter. Though.
They go, it's still a decent episode, but we don't know who that person was, so we're not gonna. Sorry,
Michael Biehn was in it. The guy from
Mr. Bean. Is that his first name, Michael?
Biehn?
The guy from Alien
and Terminator. The only two films he was ever in.
Carl Reese.
Yeah.
He looks so different. He's not the hardcore.
He is Mr. Bean. He technically is Mr. Bean.
But there was I think there was misses for non-fans in Mando, but for Uber fans like us, it was lots and lots and lots of wins.
Yeah, I mean, and that was directed by Filoni as well, because it's Ahsoka's his character, isn't it? It's his baby.
Well, for me, I think my favourite episode was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I agree.
The one with Boba Fett properly returns,
smashing stormtroopers' heads with gaffy sticks.
I want to see more of that.
Speaking of gaffy sticks and Tusken Raiders and stuff, simple things like watching the Banthas and the Tusken Raiders travel to the Krayt Dragon pit in single file. Things like that.
That's attention to detail, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. So good.
Just to go off topic, it's on the same topic, but talk about Star Trek.
What's that?
It's a show about spaceships and captains and things.
I like
the sound of it. When was that on? I'm sorry to all our listeners out. I'm a big Star Trek fan as well. John is not.
I don't dislike it. Just don't.
The recent Star Treks have paid pretty much no attention to continuity.
Right.
So they're doing prequel stuff, and all of their tech is better than the original series, and it's supposed to be in the same world.
Right.
Loads of stuff like that. They're making mistakes left, right, and centre, and there's a guy called Alex Kurtzman who I think is the not the showrunner, but he's the guy who's in charge of all this new Star Trek. He's come out on in interviews. He's like, it's impossible to just keep up with canon because there's and continuity because there's just so much of it. But it's a mess.
It wasn't Star Trek canon all over the place anyway. Even in the original 60s, it was like the
well, yes and no, but
I suppose you might as well try
Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. There's a few continuity errors, but mostly they try and stick to it, and they care, and they do care. And I listen to a lot of guys who love Star Trek, who could tell you anything. You get people who have the memory, who are sort of savants, and they've seen all of Star Trek.
I imagine there's probably like a degree in Star Trek canon or something.
Bollocks, they don't need the degrees. These are people like, as I say, savants who might not be good in social situations but can remember everything about Star Trek or something. So these are the guys or girls that you hire as a team to talk to about you going, we're going to do this, and they go, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. And with Star Wars, there's less Star Wars than there is Star Trek to get through, but you've got people like Filoni and who worked on all of the Clone Wars stuff, who put a lot of obviously new canon into it, and you got Favreau who clearly loves it, who can say, no, continuity, like we've got to keep it.
I think
going.
The worst person at continuity in Star Wars was George Lucas.
Yeah,
wasn't he? When he messed about, and even in the original trilogy, he was saying, your father was about Vader's, he's more machine than man now and all that sort of thing, and he killed and murdered your father. And then they have to go back and retcon that in Return of the Jedi with him as a Force ghost, saying, different point of view or something. Everything can be
certain point of view.
Yeah, and it's
sorry,
that's all over the place.
We have gone off topic slightly there, but just talking about Mandalorian, they're trying their best. There's going to be things that slip through, but they're trying their best at continuity, canon, servicing the fans and servicing new viewers. Giving us Boba Fett is something everyone has wanted for
Well,
about
Favreau
30
wanted
years.
to do it as Boba Fett, didn't he? I think he wanted
It's
to be
quite
the Boba
clearly
Fett.
a Boba Fett series.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
and then they were like, well, that's too. I don't know. It's just too.
Well, I imagine because they fucked Solo, so they went.
No.
Are we gonna? No, don't fuck Boba Fett as well.
Yeah.
So I go, just do a Mandalorian, and then he proved in the series 1.
Yeah.
That it's
How
like,
good it was.
you
Yeah.
can do
Then
it.
they brought Fett in.
Yeah, he's
I
incredible.
want to know. Do you reckon we'll find that out in the Book of Boba Fett? How he got out of the silent pit and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Because
I
people,
like
people
I like
want
the
it.
idea of
The Tusken Raiders pulling him out.
Pulling him out.
Well, finding him. Well,
Tusken Raiders. Sorry, I was thinking of Banthas for some reason. Tusken Raiders. Find.
So he fixes his jetpack,
Yeah.
rocket pack rather, bursts his way out. That's spluttering. He thuds on the sand, and he's gasping for
Yeah.
water, and he's just. Perhaps
Well,
he'll give away anything
The Jawas have to find him
to
first.
survive. So the Jawas give him
He
some
wouldn't have
water
given
or
away
something.
his helmet. He wouldn't have given away his stuff. No way.
And if he's on death's door and they've got some Jawa juice,
No. Good old that egg.
blue
You
milk,
got some
got
egg.
some blue milk, some egg, or some Jawa juice.
Got a whole breakfast. A whole Jawa
Yeah,
breakfast.
and so he eats that, and then he's left alone, and then the
Yeah.
Tusken Raiders pick him up, and that's how he gets all that gear.
Because that's the Tusken Raider weapon he's holding, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's been with the Tuskens.
So you see him for the first time after the Crate Dragon fight,
Yeah.
and he could well be one of those Tusken Raiders running around banging pegs in the ground, you know, in that fight.
He could be.
Watching some bloke from all
Yeah.
the Western movies there is flying around with his
Oh,
armour on.
Deadwood,
Yeah,
Deadwood, yeah. Okay, well, look, this is Mandalorian. Clearly, we're both big fans. Again, we'll do a whole episode on the Mandalorian. Again, I think people are looking forward to that already.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about the future of Star Wars, John.
I think you could have phones in your head that you can talk to people.
The future of Star Wars, not the
Right,
future
right.
of the future of the world and technology. TV shows that are coming. I'm going to rattle through them.
Go.
Okay, just going to rattle through. TV shows that are coming. We've obviously got the next series of Mandalorian. We've got the Book of Boba Fett coming. Is it Book of Boba or Book of Boba Fett? Book of Boba Fett, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah.
We've got Cassian Andor, which one of your models?
Look, yeah.
You do all the models you make. So we'll go on to talk about that as well. John's models that he does. He does a lot of not 4 shows, but he. We'll cut this bit out.
Beep. And we're back.
And we've got Book of Boba Fett. Sorry, Mandalorian season 2, Book of Boba Fett, Cassian Andor, Ahsoka, Rogue Squadron, Bad Batch, the Obi-Wan series. Too much, John?
My initial thoughts were too many.
Is it?
It's like,
For me, it's not. Give me more. I'm like,
yeah, I know, yeah.
addict.
Part of me is that it's like being at the casino and getting one lucky win, and then think, right, I'm going to just chuck all my winnings on the rest, and then they're like, you know, one of them's got to be a flop, isn't it? It's just statistically, there's that many of them that one of them's not going to do well.
I don't.
I hope not.
I hope. I mean, if I had to pick one, I don't.
Book
know.
of Boba Fett and Andor for me are the two on there that I want to.
That's the one you're most. Not
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Yep. Again. Okay. 3. All of them. I want to watch all of them.
Okay, and you can on Disney Plus.
I hope they do really well.
I agree. I think I'm looking forward to all of them. I can't.
Ahsoka, like that straight away. You think, okay, well, I'm not a huge Ahsoka fan, but you know, she's great, but I'm not, you know, that keen. But then you start thinking the Thrawn was mentioned in Mandalorian, so if we go down the Thrawn route, that's going to be brilliant.
Yeah.
Ezra might come back. From
Oh, he's
Rebels.
coming back.
So you've got all that. So again, that could be another amazing show. Now that the Rogue Squadron, wasn't that going to be Gina Carano?
Was it?
Yeah, she was apparently going to be Officer
Right.
Marshall.
Okay. And since she's been fired,
Yeah, much to my
Hen-
dismay.
because she's a lovely lady,
She's a lovely lady.
a lovely powerful lady.
Lovely, powerful young lady.
Well, and this is why there's the rumours that the girl from Rebels is taking over that part, right? What's her name? Sakura?
Ayla Sakura, yeah.
The Twi'lek.
That's it, yeah. Sakura, yeah. Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Who's carrying?
Obi-Wan's baby.
No. Someone else's baby.
Oh, really? I said that as a joke.
What's his name? Caden.
Oh!
Ezra's teacher. Ezra's.
90210.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, we've completely gone off. What's his name? Freddie Prinze Jr. does the voice of Kaden Jarrus.
That's it.
And she's had Kaden Jarrus' child.
I believe you're right, James. Yeah.
So I think you're going to get more from her than you would with the racist lady who fights people. I say
Beep,
racist.
beep, 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 beep,
Beep beep bop. Yeah.
But Obi-Wan is going to be amazing as well, isn't it?
It'll be great to see Obi-Wan.
But Maul won't be in it.
He could be.
Hang on, you're right. Yeah.
He could have fought him off world, as long as you don't fight on Tatooine.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Rebels will be after that, won't it?
Hayden Christian has already been signed up to be in Obi-Wan.
Give him another chance.
Yeah, give him another go, you shit.
Give him another go, you cheeky shit.
Obi-Wan is signed up. Obi-Wan signed up. Ewan McGregor is signed up to be on Cassian Andor as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
So he'll be playing.
But
he'll be playing Alec Guinness.
He'll be on the bridge over the top.
Bridge over the troubled Kwai.
Which is again, we'll do that next week. That'll be another one. That's fans looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Lots going on. John, is there anything that you would like to see that isn't coming? I mean, they've given us everything.
There's two. I am swamped with. I can't think of anything else I'd rather see. It'd have been more Fett, I suppose. And yet again,
You've got that.
I'm worried about that. So, and how good was Bib Fortuna?
Yeah, I like it. It was like
I'm so
big fat
gutted he's dead. He was so good.
Yeah, he would have moved aside.
Yeah.
It was weird seeing him because that actor played him different to the original. The original one was very creepy. He played him a bit more comically.
Yeah.
Because he's the guy who played him in The Phantom Menace.
That's right. And I think he's just some ILM worker. I don't think he's an actor.
He's not classically
But
trained.
he's very good at it. He's very good.
Obi-Wan
What's going to happen in Fett though? There's no. Is Mace Windu going to come back? Is he going to try and fight him again or something? What's his goal? He's got his armour now and he's back and he's got some money and taken over Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? What?
I agree. They could have left it there.
Yeah. I would have
They could have
rather
left
he
it there.
stayed in The Mandalorian and rescued Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I would have rather they built up. They had a team.
And Mando became co-insured driver on the Slave One.
Yeah, that would
Third
be
party
good.
though.
Yeah, third party.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think it would have been better to keep him in there. I'm saying that, but we'll see. His show could be great. And the lady who plays the bounty hunter who's with him,
That 80-year-old Chinese lady.
Yeah.
She is lovely. Yeah.
my Chinese, she's Japanese, isn't she?
Probably. And
She
an
is
excellent actor.
stunning
Yeah, and
brilliant.
mean. Yeah, and
You
a good
say
sniper.
she's 80 to listeners out there. This is this what's the character's name? It's gone from my head.
I don't know. No.
I'll put up a picture of her. On
You
the,
wouldn't believe
podcast.
she's like,
57.
Yeah, she looks about 30.
She looks about 30. She's a brilliant actor. Action wise, she's brilliant.
What else has she been in? Some old black and white films.
Yeah, she's in a few films with Charlie Chaplin, Lauren Hardy, and
The Bridge Over the Troubled Guinness.
Bridge Over the Troubled Guinness. Yeah,
Fellow the Planet Guinness.
she was over. She was over that as well. Yeah, I think she was in the. Oh yeah, she's been in it all.
Yeah,
But she is really attractive and. Very
all right.
Stop banging on about it.
Stop banging on about it now.
So the answer to the question, is there anything you want that you're not going to get in a moment? The answer is a big no.
The Falcon. I'd like to see the Falcon in something.
Okay, so what could the Falcon? I mean, the Falcon's.
I
just
don't
a
want to
ship,
see
so it can be
anyone
in
play Han Solo though. Really.
anything. Yep.
I wouldn't mind.
Crikey, something I was missed off the list is the Lando TV series.
Oh really?
Which I don't think's been. I don't know if it's been announced, but a Lando series, yeah, with Donald Glover.
The girl.
Brilliant.
I thought the girl that played his daughter was good in the Rise of Skywalker.
His maybe daughter.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I thought she was great.
I think that's some of the thoughts that the new Lando series could have Dorothy from the Golden Girls.
Wizard of Oz.
Be Arthur. No, could have Donald Glover as a young Lando, and can have
That's
Billy
too
D.
much.
Williams
It's
as old Lando.
Two
Landos don't make a right.
I don't know. Lando should be there as a character that pops up in the background, and he's like an Empire.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think instead of Solo, that film, they should have done Lando.
What are they going to?
I mean, they didn't have to change
series
many
about
letters.
Lando. What are they going to? It's just it's going to be like that that video that they made, that fan made video. Of, was it Star like? He's like a 70s pimp with his girls and stuff. And
Oh, they were adverts for beer.
oh really?
Yeah. What, the one where he's just advertising beer?
No.
Drinking beer with
It
women?
was a fan.
Oh,
What,
a fan-made thing.
Yeah, it
But
wasn't
they
Billy D.
actually
Williams.
got Billy D. Williams.
No, it was an actor.
Right, an actor playing Lando.
Yeah.
Just a cool dude.
Yeah.
And what
it-
does he do?
He's just like driving 70s muscle cars around and stuff, and sliding over bonnets and stuff. But he's Lando, and like he's got a cape, and
Right.
girls like he's like I don't know, what was that film? The Spy Shagged Me Man.
Austin Powers.
That's it. The wrestler.
I like I like the sound of this.
Okay.
Lando just
Have
like
I
a
just
private
made it up?
eye.
Have I made up the
Yeah, I
Lando
think
series?
you- I think
I
you
can't
jumped
wait
it.
for the Lando series. It's going to be brilliant. I'm happy they do 14 series of it.
Where he's a private eye skidding over women and
Skidding
driving.
over women and driving bonnets. Shagging bonnets and driving over women.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I'm down with
They're
it.
going to be looking forward to that, aren't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
oh,
really looking
listeners.
forward, all the listeners, and we'll talk about that when it comes out.
Yeah, right.
What's
What's next?
I think, well, that brings us up to date with Star Wars. Obviously, we've got a lot to talk about. We can talk
What's
about.
the running time now, James? Are we boring
Cool.
people?
Yeah, I imagine so. We're
Yeah,
at about
should
an hour and 10.
That's
15
too long.
minutes.
Should we leave it at that?
I think we'll leave it there.
I've got to go and stop some gypsies from getting in anyway.
I'm gonna have to cut that out, aren't I?
Oh, newborn travellers. Newborn?
I think we'll leave it there. I think we've given our listeners a massive taste,
Just
a whole dinner.
yeah, I think they've been spoiled.
They've been spoilt with the good will and knowledge that we have a rough idea about what we're talking about. And then
James,
Oh.
that sounds like we've got no idea. The last half an hour has just been nonsense. We couldn't remember one actor's name.
No. Well, I think this is the longest conversation we've had since lockdown 1.
Yeah.
So we're
This
losing.
guy calls good, by the way, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Social distancing.
Yeah.
Usually our calls last about 5 minutes because we're busy with real jobs and real lives and real families.
Yes, we've done well to fit this in. So,
So
next
I think
episode won't be this long.
No, I think the next episode
Will be longer.
yeah. So I think we just sort of lost track really. But we have described everything we've talked. We've talked about all the Star Wars. We've given you an overall look at what we know. And if people want to send us questions, ask us questions, that would be
Money.
great. Send us cash, hard cash in an envelope
Yeah.
marked Galaxy Heads. Is that what we're called?
I don't know. Yeah, talking. It's like is it
Talking
like
heads.
Talking heads, but with Galaxy.
Yeah, Galaxy Far Far Away. Galaxy Heads.
Galaxy heads.
I like it.
Have you had a Galaxy heads? Yeah, it's really good.
So we're the Galaxy Head boys. If
See you next time.
if you like it, give us a like, subscribe,
Send that
and
money.
we'll put out another
Need
we'll
to
put
wash
out
this
another one. We'll put out another one soon.
See you later.
thank-
Tutor.
Who?
Tutor.
Who's he?
No, there's a swear word in Star Wars. Just should we end it there?
Like McClunky.
Yes.
McClunky. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll
See you later.
we'll start doing some more shout outs as we go on.
Thanks to Dave for the the recording abilities. He's been
Yeah. May the force
be with all of you.